Symptoms and diagnosis of dementia in young people. You're in the prime of your life, but something just feels off. It's more than stress. You're finding it hard to keep up with conversations you used to lead. Maybe your personality is shifting in ways you don't even recognize. What if it isn't burnout? What if it's something you never imagined could happen to someone your age? This is the reality for a growing number of people finding out they have dementia, not in their 80s or 90s, but in their 50s, 40s, and sometimes even their 30s. When we hear the word dementia, our minds almost automatically picture an older person struggling with their memory. But that picture is incomplete. For thousands of people worldwide, a different and often more confusing story is unfolding. This is the story of young-onset dementia, also known as early-onset dementia, defined by symptoms that appear before the age of 65. Globally, it's estimated that around 3.9 million people are living with this condition. The real challenge with young-onset dementia is that it doesn't just show up earlier. It often shows up in disguise. The first signs are frequently not about memory at all. Instead, it can look like a personality crisis, a mental health issue, or just extreme stress, which leads to long, frustrating delays in getting a proper diagnosis. In this video, we're going to explore the unique and misunderstood symptoms of dementia in younger people, walk through the difficult journey to a diagnosis, and talk about what to do if you recognize these signs in yourself or someone you love. Imagine a 48-year-old manager named Sarah. For months, she's been struggling at a job she once loved. Big projects now feel impossible to organize. She finds herself uncharacteristically irritable with her team and distant from her family. In meetings, she loses her train of thought, searching for words. A deeply unnerving experience for someone known for being so sharp. Her family thinks it's burnout. Her doctor suggests it might be depression or even menopause. She's told she's too young for it to be anything more serious. This story is incredibly common. The initial signs of young-onset dementia are rarely the classic memory problems we see in older adults. Instead, they are subtle shifts in personality, behavior, and thinking that are easily and often blamed on other life pressures. Someone might become more withdrawn, lose their empathy, or develop new obsessive habits. These changes can be confusing and scary, both for the person and their loved ones, who might just think it's a midlife crisis or that they aren't coping well with stress. This mistaken identity phase can drag on for years, causing huge distress and delaying the support that comes with a correct diagnosis. The average time from the first symptoms to a diagnosis of young-onset dementia can be over 4 years. To really get what young-onset dementia is, we have to look past simple forgetfulness. While memory loss can be part of it, it's often not the first or biggest problem. The changes in a younger brain can affect different areas, leading to a wider range of initial symptoms. Let's break down the key signs. First, and often most jarring, are changes in behavior and personality. This is a classic sign of frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, a leading cause of dementia in people under 60. A once kind person might become irritable, apathetic, or say things that are socially inappropriate. They might lose interest in their hobbies and responsibilities, seeming lazy or withdrawn. This isn't a choice. It's the result of damage to the parts of the brain that control our personality and judgment. Second, are problems with language and communication, a condition known as aphasia. This isn't just forgetting a word here and there. It's a constant struggle to speak, write, or understand what other people are saying. Speech might become slow and hesitant, or they might use the wrong words for things. This can make them pull back from social situations they used to enjoy. Third is something called executive dysfunction. Executive functions are the high-level mental skills we use every day to plan, organize, solve problems, and multitask. For a younger person who is likely still working and running a household, losing these skills can be catastrophic. They might suddenly find it impossible to manage their finances, plan a trip, or even follow a recipe. At work, their performance can plummet, not from a lack of effort, but because the cognitive tools they need are failing them. Fourth are visual and spatial issues. This can show up as difficulty judging distances, leading to bumping into things or trouble with driving. They might get lost in familiar places or have a hard time recognizing faces or objects. For some, with a rare type of young-onset dementia called posterior cortical atrophy, or PCA, these vision problems are the very first symptom, often leading to multiple trips to an eye doctor who can't find anything wrong with their eyes. Finally, there can be issues with movement. This might look like a change in how someone walks, like shuffling or being slower, becoming clumsier, or having balance problems that lead to falls. It's this collection of symptoms, often without major memory loss, that makes young-onset dementia so different and so hard to spot. Getting a diagnosis for young-onset dementia is often a long and grueling journey. Because it's relatively rare in younger people, many doctors don't immediately think of it. When a 45-year-old comes in with personality changes and trouble concentrating, the top suspects are almost always stress, depression, or burnout. It's a huge diagnostic challenge, and studies show a significant number of patients are first misdiagnosed with a psychiatric condition. The path to an accurate diagnosis is a process of elimination and requires a specialist. It starts with a GP, who can do initial blood tests and cognitive screenings. If there are still concerns, a referral to a neurologist or a specialist memory service is critical. The process is thorough. It involves a detailed history of symptoms, often with help from a close family member who can give an outside view on the changes they've seen. This is followed by in-depth neuropsychological testing, which uses puzzles and tasks to assess different thinking skills like memory, language, and problem solving. Brain scans, like an MRI or PET scan, are almost always used to look for physical changes or disease patterns in the brain. In some cases, a doctor might recommend a lumbar puncture or spinal tap to check the cerebrospinal fluid for biomarkers linked to specific types of dementia. This whole process can be emotionally draining and full of uncertainty. Being told over and over that you're too young for dementia or that it's just stress can feel incredibly dismissive. That's why it's so important to advocate for yourself or for a loved one. Keeping a detailed journal of symptoms and how they impact daily life can give doctors the specific, concrete information they need to get to the right diagnosis. A diagnosis of young-onset dementia lands like a seismic shock, sending ripples through every part of a person's life. Unlike an older retiree, a younger person is often at the peak of their career, paying off a mortgage, and may still be raising children. The financial hit can be immediate and severe. The person may have to cut back their hours or stop working entirely, causing a major loss of income and putting a huge strain on the family. Suddenly, they have to figure out how to navigate disability benefits and early retirement funds, a new complicated world. Family life is turned upside down. A partner might instantly become a full-time caregiver while also being the only one earning money. Children may have to watch a parent change in ways they can't understand, forcing them to grow up fast and take on more responsibility. A diagnosis doesn't just happen to one person. It reshapes the entire family. Socially, the isolation can be intense. Most dementia support services are geared towards the elderly, which can leave younger people feeling completely out of place. Friends might not get it and may pull away, making the loneliness even worse. There's a deep, profound grief that comes with the diagnosis. Grief for a lost career, lost independence, and the future you had all planned out. Living with this new reality is incredibly tough, but an early and accurate diagnosis is the most powerful tool you can have. It gives an answer for all the bewildering changes and opens the door to support, planning, and understanding. It allows you and your family to make legal and financial plans, explore treatments that can help manage symptoms, and create a roadmap for how to move forward. If anything in this video feels familiar, if you see these signs in yourself or someone you care about, please don't brush them aside. It might not be dementia, but it's so important to find out what it is. The first step is to talk to a doctor. Be persistent, share your specific concerns, and if you feel like you aren't being heard, get a second opinion. For more information and dedicated support, organizations like the Alzheimer's Society, Dementia UK, and the Young Dementia Network have fantastic resources specifically for younger people and their families. They offer guidance, connection, and a community of people who actually get what you're going through. We'll link to them in the description below. Young-onset dementia is a life-changing diagnosis, but it's not the end of the story. With the right knowledge, support, and early help, it is possible to navigate the road ahead with purpose and dignity. By sharing this video, you can help raise awareness, challenge the old stereotypes about dementia, and make sure more people get the timely help they desperately need. Thank you for watching.